We just came out of a break. Before I get to Peanut, kicking that set off, we had Kenny Wayne Shepherd with Slow Ride. Following them up, we had the Rebel Rockers themselves from Providence, Rhode Island, Blindside Thunder. Wrapping it up, we had Saving Abel with Mystify. We have the bassist for 311 on the phone right now, Peanut.
It's fun to say, isn't it?
It really is. I'm sorry, but I got to say it is. I want to welcome you, and thanks for taking the time to hit this special edition of the G-Spot. How is everything, man?
It is good to hit the G-Spot, and everything is wonderful. Just doing our summer thing, playing shows, hopefully making people happy, and pissing off the people who don't like it.
I am so with you on that one, man. It's not even funny. You guys have been at it since 1990. What has the ride been like for you guys, and particularly you? I mean, we're going back a long time here.
Yeah, 1990. When we played our first show, I was a just graduated sophomore, like, a week or two out of that, finishing up that year, just before my junior year, and it was great. It totally changed everything. It was worth all the time I missed. I still, that's kind of when I started working as hard as I really could for the shows, because we had maybe once a month here and there, and by the end of our tenure in Omaha, as I was getting old enough to leave town and graduate high school, which was one of my only limitations besides waiting to get tattooed until I was 18. But it was great. We started working super hard, and we were ready for Capricorn Records when they sat us down and said that you guys are going to be a touring band. That's what you guys are going to do. If radio comes, great. That's just better. But what you guys are going to do is you guys are going to play kick-ass live shows, and that's what we've attempted to do for 24 years now, and it's helped us smooth out all these radical changes in the music business. You
guys are still going strong after all this time, and your 11th studio album, man. Congratulations, first of all. Stereolithic came out in March of this year. Did you guys do anything different in the studio compared to past CDs, and what was it like recording this particular CD?
We did do a lot different. We kind of recorded all over the place. Everyone decided, as it's really easy to do really high quality remote recording, and we've got all the gear already. So everyone just recorded in their most comfy space, and didn't take as much time as they needed. But it wasn't really a rushed pace, even though we had the deadline for the release as March 11th, because we had to hit that Tuesday. But other than that, it was as casual as it's been, and kind of hands off. Everyone kind of got to do their own thing. Here, go, you record now, and then when you're done, I'll record. And it was great. And we've done it so many times, it's kind of routine, but we took it to another level of just familiarity, and not having it be like a job, having it be if at all possible, laying down poetry, if I may be so bold. But just to make it as good as it can be, because you miss out on the practice over and over and over again that you get out on the road of playing these songs, and in front of people too is a really good pressure. But these brand new songs, most of the time you haven't played them in front of anybody, and you've only known them for if months on end, and sometimes even less than that. So to get a good you're going to have to live with it forever recording, you got to do what you got to do. If you need that special coconut water, then damn it, that's what we're going to do.
The album debuted at number 6 on the Billboard Top 200 album chart. Did you, or any member for that matter, think it would get that high? I mean, that's rather high for the debut of it, no?
And if Frozen wouldn't have come out that week, it would have been higher, possibly in the top 5, if not definitely in the top 5. But well, for us, I think it's the ninth album that's hit the top 10 on the Billboard album chart. So there's no messing around with that. That's like our World Federation Wrestling belt that we display for anyone who wants to see it.
You're dating yourself, I'm sorry to say. The World Federation Wrestling? Yeah, I remember them days too, my friend.
I'm just thinking of gaudy.
Yeah. Ebb and Flow is very unique. Can you tell us how this became the opening track?
Well, Ebb and Flow was a really old demo, which was one of the other variables that we hadn't hit upon that often in the creation of this album. With working with our producer Scott Ralston, he went through all of our demos, and he knew all of our old songs because we've worked with him on countless projects. So he just went through stuff and was going through a creative just explosion, and was like, you've got to make this into a song. Here's some ideas for the melody. Something about Ebb and Flow, and Chad wrote it as a demo called Go, and it was the perfect song. We learned it before, years ago, maybe 4 years ago, but it never got any lyrics on top of it. And fans grabbed the track, and a band called Ontologics put some lyrics over it, and it's sick. Like, if we if we did that version of it, it would have been like a completely different new thing. So, kind of cheers to them for showing how much you can stretch out like a music bed that we laid down. And I actually played it for Scotch, and he was like, okay, well, if we've got to beat that. And I was like, we do, because that exists. He went to the lab and came up with pretty much like 80% of what you hear on the album, and we love it. We love the way it came out. It's a real muscular song. It's made for the stage. It kind of sets the tone philosophically in the album, talking about kind of modern problems and being distracted and all these things. It's a great song.
The Showdown has a super cool sound. The sound seems a little dark and hard in some parts. How hard is it to infuse the wide range of genres you guys cover into the creating process?
It's as second nature as anything. It's not turning on the faucet easy, but it's definitely a part of our operation. It's more like a tricky yoga pose or something like that we've done before, but still like challenging. So it's you don't want to force it. You know when it's right. It's good to be ambitious, but not blind about what you're coming up with. And again, that was Scotch. Like, Scotch came up with most of that. I think that was Scotch and Nick wrote the music for that, and it's just stunning. It stops me in my tracks. That's one of the ones that kind of hits me emotionally, and it's like this is one of the songs I kind of been waiting for us to make.
Well, the way you guys blend the many styles is awesome. It is more evident through the whole CD, but in particular with Revelation of the Year. What was the writing process like for that track?
That was Tim and Nick, if I'm not mistaken, and that's just pure, like, the riff that you hear as the intro is just pure Tim Mahoney, just perfect right hand rhythm and lazy but not behind the beat, just awesome feel, and the song just kind of goes from there. It's really fun to play. It's one of the ones on bass that I really try and brush with my fingers and not strike when I'm plucking with my hands, and trying to get that as warm reggae tones out of it. And it's fun. Like, speaking of diversity, it's also like a diversity of techniques that we've all gotten proficient at for playing the different sounds and different styles and being able to make it sound legit, if only in our own kind of idiosyncratic way. It's good enough for us.
That's where you guys develop your creativity too, and you can never stop that. I am just really amazed, and I've listened to you guys for many, many years myself, and I gotta say though, with this particular CD, you hear everything from A to Z. You're in the alternative category, but man, I hear funk, I hear soul, I hear blues, I hear hip hop, I even hear some loud rock in some aspects in there. So I don't know, to me it seems like you've covered even more with this CD. If there is one track off of Stereolithic that sticks out more for you than any other, which is it and why?
It's not really a particular track. It's just the fact that we did cover so much ground, like you're saying. And for me, there was a couple of points that I wanted to hit. I wanted it to be like for the fans, like for the people who've been listening for years. Like, here's the best album we can do. It wasn't like, hey, we're gonna pull this wool over the masses' eyes and be the next Maroon 5. That's not in the cards. That's not who we are. And frankly, it would be a little strange. And for us to just be as much ourselves as possible and try and like write for our audience, which is the same as really writing for ourselves and making like our favorite music again, was really one of the points. And the other one was it kind of goes along with it, but to be kind of selfish, like I wanted to hear vocal heroics, I wanted to hear guitar heroics, I wanted to hear drum heroics, and I wanted to throw some subtle bass heroics in there and really make it like a meal that you can enjoy over and over and over again, because there's headphone candy, there's all that good technique from all these musicians, there's these great philosophies being thrown around that are, if not not universally acceptable. If you kind of scratch the surface, you'll kind of get what we're getting at, and that of course makes it better than it being like, you know, kind of knock you over with the bluntness. I don't know. There's a lot to it. It's an album that could only be made by a veteran band, and what's great about being in 311 Bill is we have so much to say, either with our mind using words, or our minds making our hands do what they do.
This CD is definitely has a lot to it. It's very, very diverse. And since 311's style combines so many areas of music, what would you consider to be your or the band's musical inspirations? I'm curious to know that, because you guys are all over the place.
It's just like everything you said. I mean, growing up in the Midwest, there wasn't really a pervasive sound except for like country. And, you know, for us, I think our idea of, or, you know, our best music was to escape that. And then other than that, it was just, you know, kind of make up your own rules. And we were taken from everything that we liked, which was almost everything we listened to. And MTV was like a cultural railroad train where it was snaking through the country and the world at one point, and really moving culture along. Like, here's David Bowie, here's the Ramones, here's Iron Maiden, here's Blondie. It's like, okay, deal with that. Like, try and not pick up an instrument after seeing what we saw in the early '80s, and we just kind of took it from there, and then and continued to be fascinated by what people create, how people decide to say it, and what they decide to say. And it's just amazing. It's a part of just being fascinated by being alive, and kind of choosing an abstract tool like music to satisfy your kind of needs like that.
Listen, you guys, I'm also curious to know, you just announced your 311 Cruise 4 to Jamaica, and
yeah.
This is the first time I've heard of it. I must have been in a cave. Is there anything you want to say about that? I mean, I'm curious to know, how is it?
Oh, it's unreal. It's one of those things, and not like there's a bunch of them laying at our feet, but it's one of those very few unique things, events even that have come along that we would have never seen coming in a million years of being in this band, that actually works perfect. Now that our fans are a little older, hopefully they've saved some money, and they you know, as Americans we get like a week off per year, so you know, we're going to make it count. So if we give people enough heads up for these cruises, which, like you're saying, this will be the fourth one, it is wild and super fun and just satisfying as all get out. I think it's as exciting as anything that we do, if not one little tiny notch above everything else, like 311 Day, our biannual marathon show. But there's something about the cruise, being on the water, being on a boat, being in front of people who have nowhere to go except for to their rooms. And you know, it's like that. It's just anything goes. It's so much fun. I swear I can levitate on the stage. That's what it feels like. No getting around it. It's the most. It's beyond euphoria and like that adrenaline rush. It's something else. Kind of indescribable. It would only be able to be photographed, I think.
You guys are slated to be at the Blue Hills Bank Pavilion this Thursday, the 17th, here in Boston. What can the fans expect to see from 311 at that show?
We're going to deliver every night, like, you know, has been our like band credo ever since day one. Boston is like-minded in many ways like that, where it's when 311 comes to town, it's serious business. We're going to meet up, and we're gonna sweat out all of our imperfections and come out.
Your fans are numerous and vast. What would you say helps contribute to this? And is there anything you'd like to say to them?
I say to them lots of stuff every day on Twitter at Peanut, T-N-U-T. One of the crazy things about being alive right now is that you can communicate with people absolutely instantaneously, with distance being a complete imaginary thing. We are so in touch, and we need to take advantage of our collective ideas that are, you know, like culturally advancing. Like I had MTV as an example before. Like we can make this a paradise if we really put our minds to it and we focus on it, or we can just appreciate it how it is with all its perfections. It's a crazy existence, and our fans represent every facet of it. And I love talking about pretty much anything with anybody because it's just interesting for me to be alive and to hit as many people as we hit in the ways that we hit them, you know, in their heart and in their mind. So it's a trip, and I'm happy to be doing what I do.
And you're exactly right. I know I've mentioned this with other artists. You know, back in my day, my heyday, if you want to call it, you're right. Technology has exploded, and there was nothing ever like this when I was a kid. I can remember purchasing Alice Cooper's Schools Out album and putting it on a turntable, and all I had was the album cover. And that's what took you into the realm of the music. You know what I mean? Today, like you said, you got MTV, you got Twitter, you got Facebook, you got this one, you got that one, and it helps you guys. It enhances you guys because you're right. You're there with them instantaneously. It's not like, you know, the days of a phone booth where you got to pick up the phone and things of that nature. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and I'm glad a lot of artists, including 311, have that outsource of help, because it does. It helps you guys tremendously.
Well, it's cool because we're old enough to know about it beforehand, as we were all born in the 70s, except for S.A. was born in 69. And then growing up in the 80s, it's like and then living now and having kids, knowing that they're going to grow up in this din of information. And like you were saying with Alice Cooper just being an album cover and you know, listening to it on vinyl, maybe with headphones here and there, it's like, yeah, you're going to go to a whole nother world. And that world is partially your creation because, you know, those ideas and those sounds are bouncing off your sensibilities. So the, you know, the imagination that you were using is so unique, and you know, that's a time that's almost gone nowadays. But hopefully we can kind of foster that idea into our kids and our friends' kids about, like, you don't need to watch everything. Like, it doesn't need to be on a screen. Like, you know, put pen to paper and check, you know, unplug and check out every once in a while and see what your mind does without a billion beams of light going through the back of your head. It's crazy. It's going to be an interesting balance. So we're either going to lose control or you know, find some way to make it work.
You're absolutely right, because you know what? People don't think anymore. Technology does it for them, and you're right. I think you lose that sense of creativity when you're just watching it all the time.
Yeah, I'm worried. I mean, not that there's not a billion bands out there, but I think we're missing out on a bunch of musicians. You know, like even before recorded music, we missed out on all those guys, and now there's so much stuff going on that people probably they shy away from being creative because there's so much information to take in, and it's so easy to just jelly bean out and forget about everything, and you know, it's nuts. So I hope people are inspired by what we do and what other bands do, and including Alice Cooper, and pick up instruments and or find a way to make music your life. Like you know, people who have an understanding of it should talk about it and share it as it seems like you're doing. So it's like we're all in it together. There's bright signs ahead among all the confusion, and we'll just keep putting out as good albums as we can.
Stereolithic is an incredible CD. It has everything for the listener. It really does. When you think it's just one style, it blows up into another. Other than promoting Stereolithic and touring, is there anything else on tap for 311 in 2014?
No, not really. I think we're just excited about this. There's just the ever so distant brushings of new music on the distant horizon, but you know, I think we're excited about the cruise. Happy just being out on the road, playing shows. Nick's got his third daughter coming in a few months, so I know that's what he's thinking about, and that gives us all a little time to kind of collect ourselves and get ready for what is next, which is kind of more potential than actual right now. We will see.
I want to take the time right now to thank you and 311 for taking the time to call us here on the G-Spot. I want to thank New England Concert Reviews. Man, I wish you the best of luck. I wish 311 the best. I wish you the best on this tour, and I hope Stereolithic breaks barriers for you guys.
Yeah, I think for the most part, to hear how the fans are reacting to it, not disincluding yourself, it's like we've done what we needed to do. Now we just need to kind of keep our eye on that ball of, hey, let's be as creative as we want to be. You know, like we own the record label, we own the music. Like let's do this thing. This audience is championing our, you know, freak flag almost. Like let's get as into it as we can. Let's make it as 311 as possible. Let's keep doing keep doing what we do. It's a great time to be in 311. As the the realm constantly shifts, I just feel more and more support from our hardcore audience, and love how we're reacting to it.
Let the freak flag fly, I was going to say freak flag fry.
That will totally count.
Yeah. Peanut, again, I want to thank you. I know you're very busy. Thanks for taking the time to call us. Good luck with everything, man.
Thanks. Great talking with you. Genuinely good time conversing.
Definitely. Hopefully I get to catch a show very soon myself.
Yeah, come and see it. We have a unique style. We're good enough for Venus Williams.
I wish you the best. Have a great day, and keep on putting out that music, man.
Thanks so much. Will do. Good talking with you.
That was Peanut, bassist for the band 311. I want to take the time to thank him and the band for letting this happen. I know they're very busy on tour. A very interesting conversation, like with every artist I talk to. And, again, I thank Peanut. I thank 311. I would also like to thank New England Concert Reviews. Right now, I am actually going to play a new track off of Stereolithic. This is Showdown 311 right here on WSUR.